Hey everyone, Dave here. Today I want to go through setting up a C# development environment here. So we're going to use Visual Studio to do this. There are ways to do this with Visual Studio Code as well, but we're going to use the full-on Visual Studio here, so you can use an Express version. The NEO.org Quick Start has an example here of how to get set up with C# here, and it kind of walks you through all this, but we'll do it together here. I'm going to put out a video about how to avoid some of these things as well and make things a little bit easier to work with. Maybe not simpler, but maybe easier to work with, if that makes sense. So they recommend installing this Neo Contract plugin into Visual Studio. And what that will do is give you a C# and Visual Basic template on how to set up, or that will allow you to create a new project that's a smart contract. And all that's really doing is adding in the proper Neo NuGet packages, and also putting in an action that when you compile the code is it'll call out to the Neon compiler, right? So that's going to compile your code into an AVM file, and an AVM file is what we use in NeoGUI and other clients to deploy that contract. So it's basically a series of instructions. You can almost think about it as like an intermediate language is what it compiles to. So that's what we have to do. We have to go and get the Neo compiler. So you download the Neo compiler from source, you open it with Visual Studio, and then you right click on it and you publish it. So I've already got it down here. You go to Neon, you right click, and you publish. And it's kind of funny because it's called Neon. It has no relationship to the Neon wallet. It's just a conflict of names here. So here I've already done this once, but it'll prompt you how you want to deploy this. I've picked a folder profile and a folder to publish it to, and you'll see I go to bin/release/publish output. So publish that. And that takes a while on this computer. But what you will get here is if you go to that folder, you'll see here there's a NEON.EXE in there. And that's what we want. Now, the next annoying step in this is setting up your environment variables to point to this. So they've got instructions on the website here. I'll just crack open my environment variables. And I'm just going to do that by typing in environment into the start bar. And one of the options is edit the system environment variables. And once that comes up, I will show you what to do here. And I'm also going to get a PowerShell script going here. Let's clear that off as well. So you see here we've got our system properties here. You click environment variables. You've got to find path in here. And then you click edit. So you can add one into here. I already have one. So you see here C:/demo Neo compiler/neon bin release, that full-on path that we had there. Okay, with that being done, actually shouldn't even need a command line open. We can create a new project. So you'll see here, it will give you the info about creating a new project, and you pick Neo Contract as the option here. And it's just going to generate a simple smart contract here. So my computer runs a little slow when I'm recording. I'm just going to jump away for a second, get this set up, and be right back. Okay, so I got Visual Studio open, and what I did is I went to File, New, Project, and if you want, you can just type Neo into the search bar up here and it'll filter out the template. So Neo Contract for Visual C# or Visual Basic. I picked one of those and I've already done a build on it. So it went and got the packages down here. So you should see here neo.smartcontract.framework. We've got something called contract one. This is just what it puts in there by default, a quick hello world that it puts into storage. I'm going to do a build on this. And this is where some of the gotchas can come into play here. So once this actually compiles here, we got a rebuild all failed. We go to our output. It built this into a DLL, and then it tried to start the start Neo contract converter source file, and that's all it says. So at first you think everything, why did it fail? There's no output of why it failed here. When we go, just clear this. This was from my diagnostics here. And I type Neon, I got this. I got host options, blah, 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 blah. So what the NEON.EXE is actually doing is running, it wants to find the Neon DLL. And if you look at this folder here, where NEON.EXE is, Neon.DLL does not exist in it. So we go up a folder, and oh, there it is. Copy that in. I kind of hope maybe that would have been fixed by now, but it has not been. So now if I type Neon, we actually got our version number, 2309, needs one parameter for a DLL file name. That's more what you expect to see. And this is another good gotcha. So I just went and did a build of the solution. Because the DLL has not changed, Visual Studio thinks there's nothing to do. So if I go rebuild, it knows to start again. So rebuild all is started now. It's going to recompile the DLL, and then because that happened, the next step will happen of calling out to the Neon compiler. And hopefully at the end of that, we should get an output like this. So it found an entry point of main, it converted it, wrote out an AVM file. And if we look in our folder, let's just go C:/demo, Neo contract 1, bin, debug, and there we have an AVM file. So once this AVM is generated, you can open up your favorite client and deploy that contract. So you just, like in NeoGUI, you browse to, I think it's called deploy contract. You can browse to the AVM file and you can deploy that. So that's it for getting a basic environment set up. In the next video, I'm going to go over a little bit more of how to do this in a different way that's you may like better, you may not. So I look forward to that.